Welcome to Snipisode 22 of the Daily Dose of DMC podcast. Today is Tuesday, January 31st, 2023, and I'm your host, HK. Good morning, all you beautiful people, and welcome back to another Daily Dose this Tuesday morning. We are looking to make ourselves better each and every day. Yesterday, we talked about the story of the mayonnaise jar and the two beers, and I shared a few variations of that story. I really hope you've had some time to look that up on YouTube, to watch some video, go in depth on that, and really understand the concept of what I was talking about. I love it. It's a great anecdote, and I thought to myself today that I want to talk a little bit about what ties into that. It's about strategically innovating yourself in your own life. See, I remember when a couple years back, I had a conversation with one of my brothers revolving around work. We lived in Valencia at the time, and we were talking about work and providing value, because at the time he was in the real estate industry, which is a really tough market to compete in. And I see that a lot today. I live in an environment where it's a lot about real estate. And it's definitely something where you consistently need to be offering something better. For your customers to choose you over other agents or companies. You can't just go home, lay back, put your feet up, have the cash roll in. And during our conversation, I remember that, we touched on everything from social media to online presence to customer service, and this ultimately brought us to innovation. And I think in business, you'll hear this thrown out a lot. So if you're coming from school, heading into the business world, this is a term you're going to hear very often, even in these, let's say, bad economic times. As you move into your company or your job role, if you're in the professional environment, you've probably heard this already, because every company out there has innovation written all over their PowerPoint presentations, their visions. I clearly remember when I was back in my corporate days, is one of those keywords every executive, myself included, was just throwing around. And I personally believe that there's more than just innovation per se, like in and of itself. I believe what you really need to get to is strategic innovation. Innovating at every level, from the micro to the macro, and really enhancing all aspects of that product life cycle from a business perspective, and that includes us as human beings. Especially now, as we're transforming our minds towards positivity, we need to strategically innovate. Like we've discussed in regards to creating better habits, for example, or all these different methods, from positive reframing to the topics we've discussed over the past couple weeks, like Ikigai last week. All these things is about strategic innovation. And let me just put this a little bit in perspective. So if you've been around for some time, like I have, then you'll probably remember back in the .com era, you had companies like Lycos and Alta Vista and InfoSpace, and then there was others who survived the .com era, like Amazon and eBay and whatnot, Priceline. So the difference between those companies and the companies that are still around today isn't just better products or marketing or sales. At the core of it, it's really the innovation behind those companies. If you look at Blockbuster and Netflix today, another great example, especially for all the Americans out there, because the world that we constantly, the world that we live in constantly has these wants, these needs. We're always searching for the next new thing, and that includes ourselves as well. We need to constantly evolve and make progress. And when I'm talking about this, I don't mean success. We've talked about success. I don't like the way society defines success. I think that's wrong, but we do need to strategically innovate, just like these examples that I just gave you, from a business perspective in regards to your own strategic innovation. And that brings me back to that conversation that I just had with my brother. It's about providing that value. And if you can translate that in your mind, because see, I believe that a lot of people, especially a lot of millennials, have this imposter syndrome, feeling like they don't bring that value, or a lot of people are in jobs they're not satisfied with. They don't feel like they're providing value in their role, at their company, within their organization. And this basically spills over into life, because it just causes frustration, it just causes doubts. And take for example Snapchat. Yeah, Snapchat for example. I think it would be doing a lot better from a business perspective if they innovated differently. But if you look at Instagram and Facebook and whatnot, just look at MySpace a couple of years back, in a really short period of time over the last decade, that cycle is just goes really, really quick. Now you got TikTok and whatnot, and those are because those companies are strategically innovating. Snapchat might be cool, but their features, everybody else has it now. Everybody's copying everybody else. So, and that same goes for your personal value. If you're not strategically innovating yourself, you're going to get left behind personally. Not to mention, from another perspective, but that's a whole different discussion. But you need to learn those new skills. You need to apply those enhancements in your day-to-day work, and then ultimately progress and seek that success that you define in your life. And so here's a couple thoughts that I've got for you guys that I've written down, and I'll just cover the personal aspects, since that's more about the DMC perspective in regards to how I see this from transforming our minds to positivity. So the first one is progress. From a personal level, you really need to make sure you're able to read yourself. If you feel comfortable, if you're in that comfort zone and you really don't want to learn new things, then that's kind of where the problem starts to creep in. Because just like in business, you're going to need to unlock your potential. You have to unlock your potential, and you've got to create progress consistently, because you have to learn new skills and how to apply them. If you know and you understand where you are today and where you want to be, then you're going to strategically innovate between those 2 points. And you're going to create that success as you define it, hopefully. And that poses the question of what you need to do to create that progress so that you can adapt and become that better version of yourself. Or, again, take that Snapchat example. Or execution in regards to an innovative product at the time. Secondly, compelling visions. You need to have a vision for where you want to be in life. This doesn't mean that once you graduate high school, college, or wherever you'll immediately know what major you want to do in college. But what I mean is understanding what your personal value is going to be, what you want to offer through your life. And that may take many years to discover, and that's completely fine. But you need to define the methods to strategically innovate and hit targets as you progress in life. Maybe it's learning a new language, so you can, take a trip somewhere. Then go ahead, go get it done. That's your vision. So now the question is, what do you need to do to get there? How are you going to innovate yourself to create that in your mind? And we've talked about a lot of ways to do that. How to, positive reframing and whatnot, and language within our heads to be able to achieve that. Next, the topic around link your features to your sales. You got to consistently examine and reflect on who you are and what you're going to do to get where you want to go. If for example, like in the discussion I was having with my brother, if you're going to be a good realtor, the reason you may not be selling well enough is that you're strategically innovating yourself per se by taking guitar lessons rather than learning new languages or interpersonal skills or sales skills. So you got to figure out how you can connect yourself to that specific value. So in other words, let's say you're a great project manager, because bigger projects come your way as your career progresses, and that must mean your personal value in sales, as people trust you to get the job done, is the way you can evaluate the value you provide. Does that make sense? And if that's not the case, then you got to make those incremental improvements in your life so you can generate that growth in your personal sales volume. That's what linking your features, your personal features, to sales is. And that's what you got to think in your mind when you do that and when you create that for you. Remember, you define your success. And ultimately, strategic innovation as a skill. If there's one skill I really recommend people to learn, that's strategic innovation. And here's why. Because many people are going to argue that you got to learn sales, marketing, product development, and whatnot. And those are true. Yeah? Like numbers and finance and, basic laws and legal aspects and, interpersonal skills, whatnot. But I believe if you can really embed strategic innovation into your skill set, you're always going to be ahead of the curve, because you'll truly understand what you need to execute on. You'll have an eye on how to adapt and change and improve, acquire other skills or things that will enhance you personally as a person. See, if you're in sales and you only close a deal half the time, the question then that I would pose is ultimately something needs to be done in regards to your strategic innovation. So what needs to happen for you to close 75% of those deals, or even 99%? That's what strategic innovation encompasses. So that's what you got to go make happen. And I know this topic was a little odd. It was very more businessy, but in combination to what we discussed yesterday, I really want you to think about strategic innovation in your personal life and really have that mindset that you can move forward, you can progress, you can achieve. Anybody can do that. I really believe that. I mean, just look at Steve Jobs, with Apple. If you've ever seen the movie with Michael Fassbender in it, and if you've seen it, and you might remember one of those last scenes in the movie, Steve is very specific with his vision, and he's strategically innovative in what he's going to do next. I won't give away what he does, but if you haven't seen it, then I do recommend it. The same goes for Jeff Bezos. Not a big fan, but you gotta, what he's done with Amazon over the last decades, especially in regards to their supply chain, or, strategically innovating. They work together with lots of partners, UPS, FedEx, and whatnot, but they are snatching away market share like crazy. And they're literally building their own delivery empire, if you think about it. That's strategically innovative. So, and that's how you got to be in life too. So, define your own success. Be strategically innovative. Think positive. Utilize the things we've been discussing and make that progress in your personal life, in your professional life. And let me know how it goes. Let me know your thoughts, guys. How does this relate to you in your personal life? What are your thoughts on strategic innovation? I'd love to hear about that. Reach out to me on social media, over the website, on YouTube, whatever. If you've enjoyed this, hit the like button. Appreciate that. Hit subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you found this interesting or useful, please feel free to share it with family and friends, guys. That being said, stay dedicated, motivated, committed all day, every day.